This right here is my keyboard and mouse trackpad setup that I am using whenever I'm not just using my MacBook by itself. This is of course also how I like to use my MacBook whenever I have it in my upraised stand so that I actually sit normal and I can just look at the screen instead of having always to kind of like squint down when the computer is just flat on a desk surface. However, now I actually have a new keyboard, and that's the Apple Magic Keyboard with Touch ID. Now the question, is it really seriously upgradable to go from just the Apple Magic Keyboard with the eject button at the top to just the same keyboard basically with Touch ID on the top right? Maybe, maybe not. Let's take a look inside of the Magic Keyboard with Touch ID, what comes in the box, and of course, if it is worth the upgrade. Now looking at the packaging, of course, you will probably not find any good reason to upgrade because there's just nothing that functionality-wise is different when you just look at the packaging. What is interestingly different is that they actually include a USB-C to Lightning cable, which is kind of fabric-y and basically the same kind of fabric-y cable that you get with the charging cable on the new M1 Max and M1 MacBooks. So that is really interesting that they include this here because I found that they don't do that on, let's say, the iPhone 14 Pro. And also the charging cable for the AirPods is not ribbony or fabric-y either. So that's really interesting, and I don't really understand why specifically this keyboard has this now. I don't know. Anyways, we have a bit more paperwork here, but that of course is kind of boring and unimportant. Now, when I put up these two against each other, it is really fascinating how similar they are. They're basically the same size when you put them on top of each other. They are also, in terms of the raising or not raising, in terms of like how it kind of like tilts on your desk, it's basically the same either way, and nothing changed on that front. However, things that did change quite significantly is how they are using here the top line or the top bar of keys, the F1 to F12, and of course also the difference here with the Touch ID button versus the escape or the kind of eject button when we still had CD drives at some Macs at least. But other than that, pretty much anything else about this is very similar. Now, the keys here on the older model, those sound much, much louder, and the newer model is much, much more dampened. I will show you now without me speaking, of course, because otherwise it might be hard to hear. So that is a huge difference between these two models, that now the dampening seems to be much more here on the newer one. And to me, at least, it feels really nice to type on this. I can type really quickly. I can find my way around this keyboard, and I am really happy with this upgrade. Now you might wonder, if you already have a keyboard without Touch ID, is it really worth it to upgrade even just to get Touch ID? And to that, I must say, absolutely yes. The not having to kind of reach up to your computer and stuff like that is really, really nice. Just coming to my workstation, putting my finger here and being done with that is really, really nice. It just works. It is incredible how fast it is. And overall, this button on the other machine or on the other keyboard for me was just wasted space because of course I'm not gonna eject any disk from my MacBook anytime soon. So in that way, this now is just simply replacing a unfunctioning or completely useless and unnecessary button with something that actually does something that I use on a regular basis to unlock my password manager and stuff like that, and of course unlocking my computer. Other than that, I personally can't really compare these to other keyboards from other brands because I have been using this for like 5 years or 8, and now I am using this and it is making me very happy. And of course, in comparison to the internal MacBook keyboard, it is so similar that I don't necessarily find any difference whatsoever, which is part of the reason why I actually also really prefer choosing the Magic Keyboard over, let's say, some type of other brand or some kind of fancy keyboard or something, so that the experience between my computer and the keyboard, if I use it on a desk versus not on a desk, shouldn't be all that different. So this way, it is very, very similar. And of course, also putting the trackpad into the mix, this also gives me just a very easygoing feeling because it is, again, so similar to the internal experience that I have when I'm just on my MacBook. Now, with all that said, the Apple Magic Keyboard is a breeze to use. It is really nice for typing. It is nice and quiet so that you are not going to disturb anyone around you. And the Touch ID makes it that much more useful and easy to use and faster and less annoying. Now, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. That's always greatly appreciated. And of course, you can also leave a comment down below. If you want to check this out, then of course you will also find links in the description down below so that you can shop this product either on Amazon or directly from Apple. And with all that said, I hope you have an amazing day, make it your life, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao!